there's a lot of products out there. You can rent stuff. You can buy these silly shoes with spikes. You can use a push aerator, which seems overkill to me. But the thing that I found after doing a lot of research that seems to be a winner is this Corona aerator, which is a real simple process on how to use it. So, and this came highly recommended from a guy doing an Amazon review on a product he didn't like that basically fell apart, and then he found this one at his local Lowe's. So you put your foot in. You got to make sure that you've had a good rain, which we did yesterday. Okay, then you pull it up, and if you look closely, you'll see plugs of soil sticking up. You go to your next spot, push it in again, and what happens is your previous aeration plug gets pushed out, and excuse my fingers, what you'll get are these plugs that look like this laying around in your yard. And again, your soil needs to be well watered. I just waited till it rained. And like I said, you'll get these plugs that look like this. So I'm going to repeat this process with this unit. And let me show you what it looks like on the working end of things. What you've got are basically these slotted heavy-duty metal parts that go into the ground, aerate your soil, a plug comes up, and you just repeat the process. I'll repeat this process for my whole yard. I don't have much of a yard really, so it's pretty easy to do. And one thing I checked before I bought this, I have pretty big feet. And some of the ones that are available online, you can't get your foot in. They're made for people with small feet. They come from China, so possibly they measured their feet average width in some Asian country. But here in big boy America, you got to have some width. This needs to be at least 5 inches wide or more. But I'm going to get to it. The handle is very comfortable. And like I said, you either water your lawn for like 3 hours, or you wait till after it has rained quite well. We got a lot of rain yesterday, so I knew it'd be perfect. Day before yesterday, I put down some high quality fertilizer. And these plugs, they'll just dissolve. They'll dry up and break up and fall back on the soil, and won't hurt a thing. So let me get to it. And again, available at your local Lowe's, the Corona Aerator. Highly recommended. Works like a charm. Okay, one thing that I didn't read anywhere, and no one really tells you the correct spacing for these holes across your yard. But what I'm doing is, you can see a plug here, there's a hole there, and I've gone basically the width of the aerator, the orange part, and moved that distance up. And what I do as far as my next aeration plug, again, I go about that distance there from the last plug, the last aeration. And I'm thinking that should be more than enough as far as a grid work for working this yard. It sure isn't going to hurt. So we should get some decent growth between these holes. Right there. I'm about 10 minutes into using this and it's still working great. The plugs are coming out, falling out nicely. Now earlier I talked about the intensity of the grid or the pattern that you might use for putting holes down. For this area here that looks like absolute crap, even though it was seeded and fertilized last year, I am going to go ahead and have a tighter grid, more aeration on this area. Aerate the area. Say that 3 times fast. These areas too, right by the driveway, they're obviously very compacted. Even the clover's not growing very good. I'm going to do more aeration on that as well. You'll notice after repeated use, the bottom area will get clogged up with leaves and dirt, mud and whatnot. So it's a good thing to every once in a while check that and bang it against a tree deftly, or take a screwdriver and knock this stuff off. So after a good cleaning, it should look like that. Well, after about 35 minutes, I have taken care of the problem areas. One thing I suggest when you're using that tool is to have some good shoes with good padding, and don't stay working just with your right foot. Alternate when you're working right to left, left to right, like that. Or you just may want to use your right foot for 15 minutes and then switch over and use your left foot for another 15 minutes. Do an alternation like that. I read online some guy said he could barely walk after using one of these devices. It wasn't particularly this one, but he said the ball of his foot was killing him. He didn't say how big a yard he was using the device on, nor did he say how long he was using it. But just use your common sense. I noticed when I was working, even though I couldn't see roots, of course, and I couldn't see rocks all the time, this device would only go in, say, like that. It wouldn't be even to the ground because one side hit a rock or a root. So all you do is just shift it a little bit and straddle the root or the rock and keep right on. Really simple. Another 25 minutes later, and I finished. So this little yard took like about an hour to do. So we'll see how it goes. All right, signing off.